Hello, welcome to my stream. So, my plan tonight is to see how far I can get in designing a 1/4 megabase. I would like to design something that does 1/4 of 1,000 science per minute. We're going to do this in a crazy resources map and in creative mode. So let's bump everything up, except uranium. Okay. Okay, so the idea is we don't really need to travel for resources ever. Terrain, water, turn off trees, turn off cliffs, enemies, turn those off. Recipes are normal, technology is normal, always for research queue. I don't know if that's relevant. Turn off pollution because this is a megabase world. How does that look? Looks good to me. Okay, so what we'll do is probably when we land, travel off somewhere where the patches start to get a bit bigger or a bit deeper, and set up shop there. Okay, so let's play. Check everything's right. So normal recipes, normal technology, multiplier 1, research queue is on. Pollution is off. Enemies are off. We have water, we have no trees, we have no cliffs. Everything's bumped up except uranium that's low. Okay. Awesome. Yes with cheats. Okay, it's always daytime currently. We're going to fake in power initially. So let's have a look at the map. Okay, so these are 70 million, 30 million, 63 million. Okay. The stuttering is probably it generating resources, generating map. Let's head off sideways a bit. Okay, so I'll be wherever possible using 12 beacon builds. Let's think this through. Okay, so the largest part of any megabase is the smelting. So you end up with at least as many machines doing smelting as everything else put together. What's this? 67 million, 48, 267, 130 odd. So let's carry on going a bit more. I hope that's map generation that's causing the stuttering. Okay, this was quite a big lake. Quite a big lake. maybe we're over the top now. Okay, so we've got an iron patch just popping up on the side of the screen. This is 466 million, so we're heading towards the gigapatch size. That's a gnarly shape. Okay. So this is 570. Yeah, so I'm in two minds about how to go about doing this. Basically, because more than half of your factory is smelting, what I want to try and do is minimize the distance from smelting to product. 300, 700, 490. Okay. So we have most things that we need here. We've got some coal, some iron, some copper. That's not stone, but I'm sure we will find a stone patch near here. Here is some stone. Won't get many drills down on that. Although I selected big patches, at least initially in these things, you're limited by the number of mining drills you can fit on. Okay, let's wander over here, see what we find. At the next, right. So we've got some copper, some iron, some coal. That's better. That's more what I'm after. Okay. That is 1.2 gigs. That's what I'm after. So let's set up shop here and start building. And there's an iron ore patch here, which is only 300 and something. Never mind. Okay, so where are we? We've walked all the way from there. Little way out, not very far. So let's start building. And we've got some oil. Oh, I think we're set here. This is as good a place as any, I think. And some stone. Yeah. All right. So here's a bit of blank in the middle. And in the past, when I've built factories, particularly big factories, what I've ended up with is an area, say here or wherever, an area where you bring in ore, then it goes into smelters, and then it goes from the smelters into the production areas. Or I've designed it with rail, where you have smelting blocks, then your consumables blocks like green circuits and so forth. And then it goes off to modules for the individual sciences and then off to labs. It occurs to me that in a purely science setup, you should really be starting with the labs and working outwards. And so let's make a schematic on the ground. Okay. If you've not done this before, this is creative mode. It kind of works to dump everything into your logistics requests. We're going to need some mining drills. There are some edge cases where you're placing things down and they don't get replaced. But they do get replaced better if they're in your logistics. All right, what else? We're going to need chem plants. Refineries, assembly machines. Okay, in particular, modules don't get replaced. when you use them up in creative mode. Weird, isn't it? Right, I think we have most things there. Then we need some arms. Right, and the only arms you need when you're building mega basing is green arms and red arms. I'm gonna get some logistics. We may want buffer chests. Not sure. Roboports. Okay. Medium poles. Large poles. And substations. I believe substations are the more UPS efficient way to do things, if you can. Fluids. Alright, so we want to really minimize everything to do with fluids. Then we will probably end up doing some stuff with belts. This isn't an opinionated build. We are going to use whatever is needed to get the job done as compactly and efficiently as possible. I think that is a full set. Okay, let's start arranging this on a quick bar. Okay. So the quick bar is more for me to be able to grab stuff than anything else. Right, oil. Alright, that'll do for now. If we need anything more, I can always add on a third row here. But you can't just drag it up, but there you are. Right, I'm also going to make myself a body, an armor. Good, we've got one. I'm going to make 3 of those. Don't know how many of those I need. 1 of those just in case. 4 of those. Alright. So, that. Okay. And then logistics, I'm going to request some construction bots. 200. Probably won't need them. I'm going to use the instant blueprinting support, but we may decide that we want to turn off instant blueprinting and go to some other mechanism later. All right, first of all, tidy up. Okay, we've got some room. So we'll probably end up building some stuff here and then moving, but anyway. All right, let's start in the center. So we're going to have a lab. Oh, beacons. Okay. Don't need pipes right now. Do need beacons. Actually, we're going to go for a third. Right, so where is it? Settings, interface, active quick bars, 3. Right. The reason being, I'm going to use blueprints. So we haven't put modules on here. All right. There we go. Let's imagine we had 1 roboport. Okay, so that's a 12 beaconed research lab. Now, there are effectively two ways to feed this. One would be with belts, in which case I don't think we can pack these quite so tightly. The other way would be with bots. If we're doing a quarter science, that is 1/4,000 of each science pack per minute. We have 7 science packs, so that is not quite 2,000, 1,750, which is ridiculously tiny for bots to move. So I think we're going to go for bot-fed labs. All right, let's try that. We can always replace it with belt-fed labs later. Is there a way to power this up? It might be worth losing a square to be able to use substations. So I could do it with a power pole. We'll figure it out. Actually, this only needs a requester, doesn't it? Because things go in, things never come out. All right, so this is going to request red, green, grey, blue, purple, gold. I don't think so. Okay, so 200 of each, which presumably is loads. Okay, so then we can fit a substation. All right, take that out. Okay, so that's 4 labs. Also, settings, sounds. Okay, so that takes us. That's really loud. I thought I'd. So cut that. So that's well within the logistics range. We could probably shuffle things around to get one more in. Yeah, I think we could. But before that, let's get this powered. Creative mode. Power. Okay. In a moment, this will stop flashing. That's it. Okay, so let's take that again. If we were to put this there, so that's right on the edge. Then grab that bit of the build and put it there. Yeah, that's within range. All right. So I actually have no idea what rate science this will do, but we're looking for 1/4. So the best way to do this would be to fake in science. All right, let's get a couple of. Okay. So alternately, when you put these down, they have the items you want, which is just weird. And let's get some Logi bots. All right. And let this get buffered up. Awesome. So let's start a science. And let's do one that doesn't really matter. Okay. So I want to know the... Yeah, that's going to take a little while to run. So I want to know the consumption rate of this. Okay, so this is consuming... $2.14 a minute. That is frighteningly close to the 1/4. So I think we're 1 lab away from 1/4. Right, so we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 labs. So I think 10 labs would do it. Let's do 2 rows of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Delete that. Okay, that's not exactly centered, but we'll work on that. Okay. So I'm looking for 250. Not quite. I'm going to have to let this run off the end. But it looks like we could probably do a 1K science with a single drone port. However, a 1K science build is quite big, so I want to avoid that. Let's see what this levels off at. If it levels off at 250, I'm going to call this job done. It might need 1 extra lab to push it comfortably above 250. Okay, so it's up at 230, so it's not quite there. Okay, not quite enough room to fit 1 extra in. Right, if I pick this up, move it 1 back, okay, let's see if, well, that's clearly above, isn't it? I'm probably an entire lab too far gone now. So just to prove the point, yeah. All right, so I'm going to call that it. Let's take this away. So there's obviously other ways to lay this out, but job's a good one, I think. All right, so let's get some flooring. All right, so. Right, I want to put down a DMZ for the bot range so that we know exactly where the border is. Okay, so this is what happens when you don't add things to your logistics. All right. Okay, so to feed this, we need to feed into this area. Well, that's just annoying. Great, so that's done. So we will need to feed science packs into here. So then the plan would be science packs would be provided from around this square and put in. So let's do the next one. Let's do red science because that is the simplest, obviously. Okay, so this is going to make red science packs, which is now called automation science. We will begin with a type packed 12 beacon. Okay. And this requires 2 items, gears and... Right, turn that off. Requires gears and copper plates and produces 1 item, which is red packs. Okay, so there's no way to do that here. One of these produces 134. So I want 250. Well, let's check if that is 265 items per minute. So that is a 1/4. Yeah, that's more than 250, isn't it? So that is our build. Wow, if they're all this small. Okay, so to feed that, I need gears. And the temptation is to direct feed the gears. Let's find out. Let's take one more of those. There. And change this recipe to gears. So I am well in credit for gears. Right, and let's do this in long-handed inserters won't be able to do it, but let's just double check. Right, so it would need 6 long-handed inserters to empty that gear machine. Clearly not happening. However, how many? Oh, goodness me. All right, so the input to this machine is 0.462 long-handed inserters. So, that should allow them to run. As long as I bring... Right, if I was running this full with a stack inserter, I need more than one of them. I need 1.1 stack inserters. However, I'm only using a fraction of the gear machine, so I can feed this with a single stack inserter. Okay. Let's just go. So this requires twice as much iron as copper. We need 96 copper plates per minute and 96 gear wheels, which means twice that iron plates. Okay, let's request some copper ore, some iron ore. Yeah, that's all I need right now. Cool. We are going to do some extra sums. Let's take this cage, put it there, get rid of that, turn this into a smelter. We probably won't want this here. Right, and I'm going to put down some power because the flashing is annoying me. I wish you could turn off power down flashes. I don't know how to do it. If you do, please tell me. Okay. There we are. Phew, that's better. Right, so this, if we set this to copper, that produces 300 copper plates, of which we need 96. So we need one copper smelter and one iron smelter to run all of this. All right. Okay, now let's have this. I want to get that into there. What's the best way? The other option would be to have these smelters on this row. We could actually go a bit crazy. Right, if we get rid of this, so we're feeding directly across there. What if this still has the full effect source coverage, doesn't it? Okay. Can't do it this side because this has to feed over. Right. What I was wondering was if we could if we could put smelters above, feed the ore directly in. The problem is this exactly matches up, so we can't easily put a gap in these beacons. Oh, yes we can. Oh, no you can't. Oh, yes you can. There we go. So. I'm just wondering if we can feed... Hang on, this thing is really running too fast. Okay, let's see what the speed on... that is. Items per minute, 247, just off 250. So I need one more beacon in here to make that work. All right. If we had an iron smelter here, which just direct fed, I'm one beacon short here if we do it this way. Right, how else could it... Still, we can't get the extra beacon coverage in. Okay. Let's double check that these are still... Okay, that's above 250. So, I really want the smelting to come direct from train. Probably doesn't matter for this one, but for others. So if we had, let's get some train track just to have a look. Okay. So the idea would be, let's put in a train stop just to make everything concrete. Okay, so, and a train, because I find it very hard to visualize trains without trains. That. And that. Okay, so this needs copper and iron. So imagine we have a copper and an iron here. Okay, so we come out of the train, into a box, then we come out of the box, into a furnace. Now, do we have room to beacon this? Yes, we do. Whoops. Okay, so we could do that kind of beaconing. So that's a 10 beacon build, which for this will probably be enough. Let's fill this with copper just to get a speed. Right, 256. 96. So we're, yeah, that's plenty. Do I even want to go via a box? I could just load directly into these smelters. But the point is, we're smelting into this, which would then go into a red machine. Okay. How far does a long-handed inserter reach? Okay. So we've established that if we take away one of these, 123 isn't 125. We need the 12 beacons. Right, so if we had something a bit like that, and then a bit like that, and then even it up on the track. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to pick it up with those stack inserters. I keep missing them. All right. Okay, so we are drifting. Are we? No, we are exactly aligned. That's pretty amazing. All right. So we could do something here to direct feed the smelting in. Okay. The problem with that is that this doesn't have 12 beacon coverage, and we need the 12 beacon coverage here. Okay, so I think all roads are leading to some sort of belts or bots. Okay. So straight out of the train into the smelter. Remember, we need 160, 166. $192. Okay, so we need some extra beacons here. And we need double that for the iron. Okay, so we need this down here somewhere. Right, the reason I put that 2 up is because now we can do all right. So that into there. I'm assuming that underground's more efficient. I don't know if that's true. So that's easy there. Okay, and this is backed up. We'll get around to that in a moment. How is this one fed? Okay, so that doesn't fit. That does. There we go. And then this will output into provider chests. Okay, let's nuke this. We don't need that. And if those provider chests happened to overlap the boundary here, so that the arms were exactly on the edge, I'm having trouble visualizing this, so I want these to be exactly on the edge. Ah, we have the old problem with rail, placing things in 2 tile increments. Right, what's the option for that? The option for that would be to move this and to move this exactly in line. There. And then what do I do about the flooring? Okay. Okay, let's fix the rest by hand. That's it, so that's the first science. And this can be brought in by a little mini train. And let's fake that at the moment by using duplicating cargo wagons. That's it. So one there, one there. Okay, we'll figure out the power in a moment. So this is copper. This is iron. We'll figure out pretty much everything about this build later. So power. There we go. What I want to see is, does this actually manage to sustain... Right, so I don't want to do robot speed. There we are. This is going to need some logistics bots. Okay, and the fatal flaw in this plan is that we have these universal providers. So I need a duplicating provider chest. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Okay, let's grab one of those. That can go. Okay. Okay, what does this have any other sciences? Nope. All right, there's the blue. There's the gold. And purple. Great. So there we are. Production. I think that works. So we've done our first science. I am pretty happy with that. Okay, so if we wanted to scale this up to 1K science, we just need to make something that's 4 times bigger, which really is not a big ask, right? Let's see how over provided for we are. So we can double this as is. If we shuffle some beacons around, yeah, we can totally do this. I don't know if I would continue to direct feed the gears, but you know. All right, next build. So the next one is green science. That's a bit more tricky. Get rid of this for now. I don't know if I want to do a direct feed or not. Let's change this recipe to green science. Okay. So that requires some belts and some arms. From prior experience, it's almost impossible to make belts and arms this slowly. Right, and we're gonna need 3 of these to keep up. Green science makes slightly slower than red science. So if red science was absolutely on the nose at 250, right, this is 300 and something. If we had 2 of them, 224, it's just slightly shy, and they're already as beaconed as beacon can be. However, it does mean, I think, that's 300. $266. All right, so we've got lots of leeway on how to arrange beacons. Okay, so in fact, perhaps we do something a bit like this. So if this makes belts, that needs gears. Okay. Then this also needs gears, the arms. We can prod mod this, but these 2 are items you can place on the ground, so you can't prod mod those. We could feed across. Now let's just check whether these ratios are fine. Okay, so this is well down on gears, like loads down on gears. But this already produces 150 of those and 300 of those. Without any speed modules. Okay, so as soon as we add a speed module, we are fine. I think this thing will keep up, even though it's completely underclocked with the gears. Okay. I'm thinking something like that. Okay. Okay, so this is going to have to be fed. Oh, and this also needs green circuits, which needs coils. Okay. And again, we probably have all the ratios way off. So we're massively down on coils. Oh, very small. And we're down on green circuits. We are down on gears. So basically, this build is limited by the speed of the gear machine. All right. We might have to box in the gears with speed beacons all the way around, in which case this will become long-handed inserters again. All right, then this belt needs to make its way to these 3 machines. So let's imagine something a bit like this. All right, and that is exactly the wrong way. However, it becomes exactly the right way if we do this. There. Okay. Because these were put on the outside, that will then feed the outside and up to here. Right, the problem with that is how do we get... Right, well, it doesn't have to come out in the middle, does it? There we are. That would work. This requires plates as well. This requires plates. So we need to get a line of plates to these these 3, sorry. These 3 require plates. This requires plates also, and this requires copper. Okay. Right, so this is starting to look less reasonable. However, these could be moved over 1. Yeah, and we'd still get full coverage on this machine, which is the important one. So then if we had an iron belt that ran to there, just for consistency, let's take that to there. All right, then we can take a copper belt to there. In fact, do I even want a copper belt or do I want a copper smelter? Yeah. So then that just needs copper ore in. And I don't actually know how many iron smelters we are going to need. I have a sneaking suspicion it is more than 1. All right. So then, out, out. Let's do this for now. let's have this come in. We will... That's pretty good. All right, so for now, let's assume that the ore is coming in from the ends. It's probably the wrong place, but we'll assume that. And we will fake it in with a duplicating chest. Okay, so this will need to be replaced with some other solution. So this duplicating chest is going to take copper. This one is going to take iron. Okay. And I genuinely don't know if this is even vaguely the right ratios to make things work. It looks like the answer is no. All right. So So that's just two of them. We need a third. Right, remember this needs to go up to 250. This is 196. $230. Okay, so we need at least one more beacon in this build. Oh. Perhaps powering it up would help. Yeah, 230. So I need another beacon. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's not enough copper. Oh, plenty of copper. Not enough iron getting through to this. So we are an iron smelter short. Okay. Let's delete all this. This is no good. Actually, let's just delete all this. How's that? 248. We need one more beacon on this build to make it work. Three, 2, 7. Two, 7, 4. Boxes. Power. Okay. So. Let's wait for that to equalize out. Don't want cogs, don't care about those. Okay, so that's not producing. The reason being we don't have enough iron. I think we need this all to be... Right, we don't have enough iron. Okay. Auto trash. Iron. Okay, so let's duplicating provider again. Iron. I'm waiting to see if this equalizes. Four, 3, 6, the way this is set up. No, clearly not. Let's grab the whole of that. Okay. Ah, we have a power problem. That's better. Okay. So what's the production now? $170. It's not stable, it's not reliable. Okay. Let's grab all of that. Okay. Let's put my duplicating provider chest back down with ore. Okay, so in principle, these will be producing 270, consuming 196, 196. And before productivity, that's 5.5 of iron to 1.5 of copper. And I've only got a 2-to-1 plus a bit of a bonus. Okay. So how are we doing now? It's bursting, which means it's still under capacity for iron. Okay, so let's grab that. If we were to put one down there, we need to delete some things. Right, for now I just want it powered up. Okay, we have a belting issue. Okay. That looks good. That looks good. Let's let this run off the end just so that we're there. Okay. And job's a good one. That is over 250. So that's our green science build. Now, will this fit nicely? This is nicely train fed, which is handy. Can we get this to be train fed? Probably. Let's have a look. Not sure. So let's call this a day. See if we can sort the power out a bit though, because it's a mess. Right. So if we had power there and power there and power there. Then there. There. And there. Get rid of that. Yeah. There we are. Alright, so let's cut that. And just for the sake of building it, I'm going to leave a bit of a gap because I'm not quite sure. Yeah, there we are. Alright, So let's put copper in there, iron in there, and take away this. I seem to have the wrong kind of duplicating chest there. Put that down. That'll stop the flashing. I am pretty pleased with this. Okay, so the next build would be, I'm not going to do military. So the next build is light blue. Okay, so let's grab a full cage. This is going to make chemical science. Take everything away that doesn't need to be here. Right, so this is fed. Solid fuel, advanced circuits, and engine units. Okay. $112, $230, so I'm going to need 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. Let's check. Yeah. And double check. 224, which is too few. So we can do 5. We could do 6 with reduced beacons if we had to, but 5 for now. All right. So to feed this, we need engines. Let's make an engine build. Okay, so this is going to be engine. All right. And how are we doing for this? Okay, so that's an engine build shy. I think what we're coming to is, imagine we had, get rid of that. Right, let's say we had a blue build, like that. All right, like that. Get rid of all of that. So that's ever so slightly, oh no, that's 20% under on the engine build. So that is 0.57, so call it 0.6 under in total for engines. But we're producing 336 blue. So we don't care. So we have 3 of these doubles. And the question is, what else do we need to feed this? Right. Right, so reds. So this is 1.2 red builds down. let's imagine that this is coil. That's going to be more than enough coil. So we could do that. Okay, so that is over on red. We're over on blue. We can probably get away with only having 3 red machines. All right. So this whole thing requires 360 red chips to produce far too much. 330. So we need slightly fewer reds than blues. We need 250 blues, so I'm looking for 250 reds. That's 336. That's 224. So we're in one of these one too many situations again. All right. So that's our red circuit build. These reds need green, however. Don't know if we can do it with a long-handed. That's plenty of green circuits. Okay, so how do we get the green circuits into the reds? Doesn't quite reach. Yeah, it doesn't quite reach, does it? That's frustrating. All right. That's not going to be a problem. Then we need copper. There. And we need iron here. Right, we need half of whatever this requires. So half of 960 is about 500. One smelter produces 100 and something. 500, let's just double check. Oh, so 2 smelters will do it. Okay. There we go. Okay, so a duplicating chest here with iron ore. Then how much copper do we need? This is just the red circuits. It occurs to me we have 3 of these builds and 3 red circuit machines. It's a shame we can't feed each red circuit half and half, but I think in practice we may not be able to. All right, so how many? We're going to hit issues with the smelters if we do it this way. We've got 3 inputs to bring in, so we need a split belt and a full belt. And of these, there's no real winner, is there? So there's marginally more red circuits than anything else, so I guess that can have its own belt. And how many? Right. This requires 906. Yeah, that's a lie, obviously, isn't it? Each circuit requires 4 copper cables, so that would normally be 2 plates. So it's 1.8 or 1.6 plates or something. So 60 times 1.6, give or take. 90, 100, say 100. So that would be 1 smelter. 1 smelter per red circuit machine. 1, 2, 3 of them. So 3 copper smelters. All right. Put another one of those down. Okay, put down a duplicating chest, fill it up with ore. Thank you. So those are my copper smelters. They're putting in copper down here. These are my red circuit machines. Okay, so can this come out? It can. Okay, so in. Oh, yeah, don't need to take it into the engine machine. All right, so that's red circuits in. How are we doing for powering? There's not going to be enough room, is there? Sorry, this is getting annoying. Where's the super substation? Right, let's just get this whole thing powered for now. Right, we'll sort out the actual wiring in a minute. Alright. So, how big is this? Okay, so this would fit alongside there somewhere. So that's viable. Okay, so the next problem is I need to bring in a belt for these. But I also need to bring in the missing... Hang on. We're passing the... Right. Well, that was ridiculous. Where's the output going? Okay, that didn't work out, did it? So I don't see how I'm going to get the extra belts through. This requires 3 inputs, so that requires 2 belts. This requires 3 inputs, that requires 2 belts. So I need to get 3 belts in. All right, let's just take this unit and go, because the other option is to do it with bots, but I would prefer to do this with belts if possible. And I really want this direct feed. Okay, so I could have one belt which was combined item for blue and item for, so for example, a red circuits plus steel. I would still need the remaining items for blue. So for example, solid fuel. Oh, that only requires, yeah, so imagine this belt was just solid fuel and red circuits. Okay. Just solid fuel and red circuits. In fact, let's marker that because my memory is not great. There we go. Okay. All right. So then this isn't needed at all. So then this needs pipes, gears, steel. All right. So we can bring in the pipes and steel. Pipes and gears, steel. Where does the other one come from? See, the other option is to bring in like that. So this would be red circuits plus solid fuel. But the problem with... Oh, obviously I don't have show combinators switched on. The problem with that is I need to get the output of one red circuit machine into two blue potion machines. I don't see how to do this without using bots. Right, that requires almost nothing. This requires almost nothing. So, right. Let's just confirm how nothing it is. That whole thing. Is it even 1,000? By the time you've rounded that down, 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe 1,000 items. All right, so we're going to feed this with bots. We're going to double up the requester chests. Those are provider chests, aren't they? Okay. I'm going to threshold this to 1 stack. I have a feeling I didn't do that with the other builds. Let's run up and just check them. Okay. And let's trash potions. Okay, there we are. Let's get rid of all of that. So. That's it. So. 2, 4, 6. This would go somewhere here. we now have room to power this. All right. And we must not cross the streams. Whoa! There we are. So I figure if a build won't work with 50 or 100 bots, then the build is relying too much on bots. Okay, that's outside our logistics. Not a problem. Now it's inside. Okay, so the game now is to build all the outputs we need for this within here. So that is a gear machine and this. Okay, get rid of all that. So this goes out. Let's put this out into a provider. Let's limit this to 1 stack. Okay. And to make these work, we're bringing in, we need plastic. Right, so can we shove plastic on the other half of this belt? I think the answer would be hell yes with knobs on. Okay. So how much plastic do we need? We probably need 1 plastic machine. Possibly 2. Let's start off assuming it's 1. Okay. So that will feed the plastic up and through. Prop mod. And this needs a coal input. Which could share a belt actually with this. And it obviously needs petroleum. Right. Can this be any further? No. Right, for now let's fake in the petroleum. All right. And let's fake in some coal. And we'll see if this is enough for 1 build. If it isn't, we will need, whoop, that's fluids, matter. set the recipe to plastic. Okay, so how much plastic does this produce? 1,000. We do not need 1,000, so that is adequate. Okay. These are not running because there's not enough copper. Okay. So this flip-flop doesn't work for red circuits. We need, with a dumb chest in the middle, okay, so what's the problem now? Okay, that's pretty good. So this is going to be our red circuit build. Let's... we haven't powered anything up. It's pretty crowded. Let's take the whole of this, complete with creatives, put it there. Got a feeling it's not going to run fast enough if I take out some of these beacons to put in power. Where would the next one be? Here on a... How over spec are these? Oh, massively. Okay. So, may work. Okay, so we have coal. We need to supply copper ore. I'd rather do it with the arms because we're going to be presumably loading up belts with arms later. All right. Okay, that looks reasonably good. Then these need gears. Let's ask how many for the whole thing. So gears for the whole thing, 144 and 288 of iron and 144 of steel. Okay. And to make a gear takes 2 plates, 1 point something plates with productivity. So, not quite twice 1.44. 279. So I can direct feed a gear machine with an iron smelter, and I can direct feed the pipe machine with an iron smelter. So let's grab the iron smelting design. Okay. So I want one of these. Okay. Okay, so this is going to direct feed. And I'm wondering how... Yeah, this is kind of in the wrong place, isn't it? Let's put it there. Okay, this is going to direct feed into a gear machine. Which is then going to put out into a single stack box. Like that. Okay, and let's for now direct feed this from a duplicating chest. Right. Then we have a setup very much like this. Except here is pipe. All right, and for now, let's not do it quite like that. We are going to okay, so that is sufficient. Well, I don't know if it's sufficient, but we will find out. Can't get extra beacons around that.
We can move the whole build. Right, then lastly we need some steel. And 144 steel. So just for the sake of building it, this isn't the right place to build it, but we will build it here anyway. Okay. So is this enough, or do I need more? Come on. This produces 60. $140. I reckon 2 of these builds. 1, 2. All right. So we can now take that away and let's start the next research. Okay. Solid fuel. We have no solid fuel. Okay. Let's head back over here. Let's take that out, pull that over. Right, the best thing to do would be solid fuel from heavy oil. However, we have a petroleum pipe here and we need almost none. So we are going to do the unthinkable. Oh, hang on. I'm feeding that down completely the wrong cable, aren't I? Yeah, alright. Okay, where do I want the solid fuel to go then? Don't want it to go here. Maybe I just want it into a box. Now this is outside our bot range. Okay. How can we jiggle this around? There we go. Well, this can go the other side. There's nothing... Right, so that could go this side. Let's put it down there for now. There.
quad mods. Right, output's 196. Needs 120, so we're fine. All right, so we're using 30 bots out of 50 at the moment. That's fine, isn't it? Here we're using 30 out of 46. Okay. Yeah, we're using 20 odd bots in both builds. Okay, and that's fine. That's stably above 250. And consumption is 250. Okay, why are we overproducing? So we are ever so slowly buffering up. So clearly we could optimize this build for space, for compactness, and we probably should. However, more importantly, this has a roboport. Okay. So policy is going to be for everything involving roboports, we have to mark out its range. Great, so that's build 2. Sorry, build 3 actually. Okay, and double check. Right, what's gone on here? The production of this has fallen off. It is lacking red circuits. Red circuits aren't being built because okay, where's duplicating chest and coal? Now we back up. Yes, we are. Cool. We'll leave that to burn back in because there'll be some buffers that need refilling. All right, the next science to do would be production science, which I'm not looking forward to. Okay. So that's red-green circuits, more red circuits, rail. Okay, let's grab that. Head down to our design space. All right. So, purple. $96. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 480. Far too much. 38. 288. That's better. All right. Each of these requires whoa, 685 rail. Okay, so that's 0.6 rail machines. Although I don't know if I can keep the rail machine running. Let's go back to stacks. Okay, so if we were feeding it from box to box, 0.6, 0.6, 0.6, that would be 3 inserters, but I've got a feeling because we're going from belts potentially, we'll need 1 inserter per product. So we're probably not going to be running this at full speed. Do I do this feeding 2 machines, or do I do each machine with its own? I think I do each machine with its own, because each of these also needs sticks. Right, what does this look like? Except we can prod mod the sticks. And this is 1.6 stack inserters. But we only need 0.6 there. So we may be able to run this with the box passing trick. Let's grab some passing boxes. Where were they? Here. All right. Because there is no way we're passing this through with long-handed inserters. Let's, just for laughs. Yeah, 5 and 3. That's not happening. Whereas stack inserters 0.6, 0.4. Okay, so that does work. Except the output would have to go that way. So this is going to be a rather funny end-on build. So it would be something like that. And 3 of them. Alright. So I need 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. Double check. Yeah. Assuming this does work, that's about right. So what else do we need to feed in here? We need to feed in electric furnaces and promots. And we need to get the materials into these. So this also requires steel and stone. And an ungodly quantity of each. So I think we have no choice but to belt that. Okay. Now, we're not running this at full speed, but... Okay, so I think we can do this with a single stack inserter. So that would be steel, and that would be stone. Okay. So, what's the next thing? Actually, I'm going to cut that and rotate it. Okay. Okay, let's grab this. Just put it there. And change this to promo 1. Okay, so that's 0.37 in excess. Okay, so I need 2 of these. And that's a really short hop, isn't it? But we'd have to get them in here. See, now I'm tempted to take a belt through, but we're going to have bots anyway, I think, because the... let's have a look. Right, let's copy this again. Put it down here. All right, and this is now electric furnaces. Okay, so how are we doing here for electric furnaces? We're actually already up on electric furnace machines. Okay, which means we can run that well under speed. So it only needs to run 2/3 of speed to be successful. Get rid of these boxes. They don't need to be there. All right. This says 875 red circuits. I do not believe it. Okay, so this is 525 if this was running at full speed. So 2/3 of 525 is something I can't do in my head. 160, 320, 480, 170, 240. Okay, I may have to bring up a calculator. I don't like this calculator, I'm afraid. Okay. So 525. So it was 0.3. We have 0.34 extra machines. 347. So $389, so 390 red circuits. Okay. That's for the furnaces. So that's 4 red circuit machines, just for the red circuit, for that. All right, in round numbers. So then we also need some red circuit machines for these bad boys. 357. So that's going to be another up, and that is pretty close to being on the nose for machines. So 8 red circuit machines would be about right. Okay. Okay. So, do I want to move the red circuits by bot? The obvious answer is no. This also requires steel and brick. And this also requires green circuits, but only a tiny bit. All right. So let's start off with one of these that isn't they're both encumbered by substations. I'll have to grab it with the substation mess and fix it. Okay. Okay, so water in the way. Do I have landfill? Okay. So 4 of these long is starting to be too long for a roboport to cover. Yeah, so that's 3 and it's already too big. So I think we're looking at that. All right. It reckons I'm over by a machine, which means I'm definitely over on the build. So total input of 875, but we definitely don't need 875. We need what was it? Right. So that's 525 down to 389. So we need 135 less, and 1 red machine does 112. All right, so we need 7 of these rather than 8. Maybe 8's okay, but we need 7. Okay. And in fact, we can't get away with 6. 6 is not enough. So I deleted that. Might get away with 6. Okay. It's worth a try. So this green circuit machine. All right, so that may be enough. That may be enough. I'm tempted to fake in the smelting for now. The other option is to do the full 8 and then have a dedicated green circuit make. Then what we do is we produce a combined lane of green and red. The red goes out onto a belt, so we don't need the logistics. All right. Problem with this, yeah, so if we use the same belt for the green circuits in and for the red circuits out. Okay. Then this can be made into a single length. Let's put that back. Okay, the danger here is that we don't have enough of something. I think we will. It's going to tell me we've not got enough copper, but we're only using a small proportion of the copper. All right. That's what we want. All right. Okay, so that's the green circuit build. And we are one machine over on the, well, we're potentially one machine over on the red circuits. So, transport belt express. We are fine. We are absolutely fine. Possibly the copper. No, we're fine for the copper because the coil machines are running at really low speed. Okay, so the output of that is a... Let's pull that up. Yeah. The output of that is a lane of green and red circuits. Okay, the beacons are not quite set. Not a problem. Let's move all these back. Okay. Cool. Let's put down a roboport. There. We can shift this left and right as needed. Okay. So this requires, I think, 3 green circuit builds. And 3 green circuit builds from memory takes in 1 full copper and 1 full iron lane. Okay. And then this requires bricks and steel. This requires steel and stone. Bricks and steel and stone. So we need steel smelters, iron smelters, copper smelters, brick smelters. How many brick smelters do we need? Let's just copy out this. Okay. Do I have any stone? Okay. So I need 3 stone smelters to keep this going. Right, how many items a minute is the stone? $300. Okay. No, that wasn't enough, was it? Let's have a look. 1,000. All right, we're not moving 1,000 items per minute by bot. That breaks our low volume rule. So we would need to do the stone smelting off to the side and bring it in. If I change the order of these. All right. Cool. So that's feeding them their circuits. Then we could have something like this here, except a smelter. Where are we? Okay, so
1, 2, 3. So we would bring the stone in. I haven't even thought about things like buffering things in boxes, belt stubs, box stubs, that sort of thing. That's all things we can do very much later. Okay, so that's these. All right. Right, now can we do a wiggle? Yes, we can. So this just needs the steel. This is copper. Yep. Okay. So I could bring steel for this. Let's offset it for now. Okay, what's the best way to do steel and how many do I need? All right, let's fake it with some plates for now, just to get some rates. Okay, so we are just so far off for steel. We are so far off for steel that I need a better build. Okay, let's take that all away. And let's have a very quick look at what a steel build could look like. And then it's probably time for me to stop for the day. Let's put this down. Okay, so if this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, let's take all of this away. Okay, and I'm actually going to run this to see if it works.
this long enough. Let's add... Might be what we want. All right, let's see. Right. Well, it's easy enough for us to adjust. Right. Let's fake in iron ore. One, two, three, four, five. That's it. All right, then this goes there, and we will output. So, 3 out, 4 out, 5 out, 6 out. That's it. And then out and into a matter void. All right, let's get this all powered up. Okay, we'll that's pretty rubbish, but it'll do. All right, and power. Do we have green lights? We have mostly green lights. This produces 360 ideally per minute. And this requires 1,000, except it is 1,000 can't remember quite what it was. 700 and something. Okay. $720. So I don't think 2 of these is going to be quite sufficient. Okay. And how much are we actually producing? $3 something. Yeah, say over 320. Yeah. Okay. And one last time. Try again. So it's not quite keeping up. So it's using just over half transport better belts, but under half of ore. So that is, I think, a full column. That's it. So that's a full steel column. Right, and looking at them, this end machine occasionally stalls. It's occasionally backed up. Okay, I'm wondering if we can fix that by and there it went red. It's the end ones which are going red. Can we fix that by having a box pass through just on the ends? Okay. Are all the lights... Near enough. Yep. So that was about 350. Seven something. Yeah, that's on the edge of 700. Okay, so that's what a smelting column looks like. So that doesn't produce a full belt of steel. But it does produce more than 0.2, which is... I'll take that. 0.26. Right. This... This is almost enough to drive this at the speed it needs to be for the rest of the build. Okay, and then each of these requires how much? Okay, so I need 4 of these builds. So one of these produces... 0.26. This requires 0.389. So I need... So I need 4.5 columns just to drive the rail, and I need 2 and a bit columns. Well, I need 1 and a bit columns to drive the furnaces. So I think that's telling me I need 6 of these. All right. So to remind myself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. All right. So that's going to be something for another day because it is gone midnight here. But I think we've got quite a way. We have done we have done a red science build, green science build. We've done the blue science build, barring it needs a refinery. And for we haven't worked out how to get the ore in, but you know, that's that. We have sketched the guts of this. We've worked out we need 6 steel smelting columns to bring in enough steel to feed these items. So the 6 would then get pushed into 4 belts, and then we take the belts in where they're needed. We need 3 green circuit builds. Let's just put those down so that we remember them. I think so. And they can be direct insert there. So that's that. Then we need the iron and the copper smelters to drive these things. Whew, okay. That's enough. All right, so let's save this game. And we are going to save this as... All right, and that's it. I'm going to bed. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.